Well, hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome in to the Wednesday night newsroom, that fun little thing we do in the middle of the week where we check out the news, we give our views, and we try and make sense out of this crazy thing we call life. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am known to some as the fine fella in the fedora. On occasion, I'm called the common man with common sense, but in this moment, as always, I am your beloved host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, if you would be so kind, would you please help a brother out? Subscribe to my channel on YouTube, subscribe to me on Rumble. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, hit the thumbs up button, people, and leave a comment in this live stream. Daggone it, you would be surprised how much it helps putting out the good word about this going little concern. Also, share the link around with your friends and make sure that you hit the bell for notifications. We always want to make sure that you are always aware when news things are coming up, be it this kind of a live stream or a video. And with that, let me bring in my co-host, and I have got to say a major league thank you to probably one of the coolest people I know in the whole of social media. How I came across this lovely young lady was a while back, and she was absolutely blowing up my Twitter. I mean, not necessarily DMing me, but I mean, every time I turned around and looked in my feed, here's a post from this girl, and it's like, who is this woman? And then I met her through Chrissy Mayer's live streams. She is a wonderful representative of the state of Colorado. She is a former candidate for office herself. She is an activist. She is a shit stirrer. She is all kinds of things. And on top of that, she's hot. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the Electronic Front Porch someone that I count as a dear friend in this crazy online world I find myself in, Miss Jessica Finsky, a.k.a. Forest Mommy.
Thank you.
Hey, darling.
Thanks for saying I'm hot. I love it. I'll come on the show anytime.
Darling, I would say you were hot no matter what. You know that, dear.
True. You were. Oh, God. I was telling you before the show. I'm like, Brian's just very he gives compliments, and it's not in like a weird, creepy way. It's just like great. It's what the world needs more of, and more women need to hear it. So,
daggone right. Oh, goodness. How are you, girl? I mean, I know we were talking a little bit backstage, but for the benefit of people who maybe haven't seen you on here in a while or haven't caught up with you, how are you doing? What have you been up to? And how is summer going? Well, not summer yet. How is spring going in the great Centennial State?
It's actually been very moist, which is great. We always can use the moisture. I had a lot of rain this month, but May is always rainy. People are always like want to do a Memorial Day picnic, but it always rains on Memorial Day. So that's good. The state's good. Spring's been beautiful. I got tomato plants I need to put out. I told you earlier, our legislative session just ended at the beginning of the month. So that was what I was kind of up to the last couple months because I don't have a job and I just go fight the government. So that kind of feels like my job sometimes, but since that ended, I've just been kind of, I don't know. We all have to take breaks. Like a lot of my friends who are in this too, like you got to take breaks. I'm in break mode right now. I'm just going to go out and drink with people, which is basically what I do anyways. But like, yeah, cheers. What do you got in there? Is that all vodka?
That is water, my dear. No,
okay.
No. Right now, I'm the designated live stream driver. I cannot be
water.
getting myself silly here. So that sort of thing. It is so good to see you. When was the last time I had you on here? Was it before Christmas?
A year. Yeah,
God, it's been a while. It has been a while. Yeah, I mean, I've been as you're aware, my regular co-host Tracy was going through some stuff, which I am happy to report. Some of that is straightening itself out, so I'm going to reach out to Tracy and see what she's up to. Again, nothing bad, nothing health related, but just she was going through a patch of stuff, which she sent me a message the other day and said, a good thing has happened for her, so it's starting to turn the corner. But I reached out to Jessica and I said, hey, I'm lining up some guest co-hosts. I would love to get a Colorado flavored Wednesday night newsroom going with you. So, with that, let's say hello to some folks who are here to say hello to you, might I add. Let us start on the YouTube side. Z Highness representing the 199. The Duke is in the house. Miss Shannon Lee he is here. Friend of yours, I'm guessing, or a regular in
Oh
your life.
yeah. Yeah, Shannon should make sure you
Yeah.
guys follow Brian. So
Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. Duke says, hooray for the forest mommy. I say, Robert says his hello. Yep. Now here's somebody new that I haven't seen before. There goes the neighborhood. Yo, yo. Well, yo, yo to you, sir. So there you go.
yo.
There you go. Z Hines says, oh my goodness, Chrissy has an army of friends. Wonderful to see. Very true. Let's pop over the Rumble side, see who's here. WWG1, as always, providing the memes and the commentary and the comedy. He says, good evening, all. Also says, Brian says, you're hot to ugly people, too. It's true. He gives compliments. Well, okay.
Right.
Thank you very much. TBA is over on Rumble. Yep, the wing nuts are assembled on the Rumble side. Let's see. Oh, well, now this is an interesting compliment. I feel like this gentleman would be on a YouTube tutorial teaching me how to blow smoke rings through my tobacco pipe. Very cool. Well, thank you very much, sir. I genuinely appreciate that. I don't know if
I always liked your accent. I've always liked your Southern accent, and then Tracy too, because she's kind of got. When I've been on with you both of you though in time, I think, and she's kind of got a draw a little bit.
Oh yeah, she originally grew up in Alabama and was in the Army, so that sort of moved her around the country. But now she's settled down in Tennessee, which it's an interesting sort of phenomenon because I've always found there are three nexuses for folks on the right who are involved in content creation: Tennessee, Florida, and Texas. And Colorado's got the same thing going. Y'all got a wonderful bunch of content creators out there in your state. That, I mean, you got Free State of Colorado, you got other people,
Yeah.
and you could drop names.
Brandon Wark. Yeah,
That's right.
Brandon. Yeah, so Free State Colorado is Brandon Wark, and he just did that. He just started doing that one day, and he has a full-time job, and he dedicates his time to doing all and then during the legislative session, him and he has somebody from the Libertarian Party come on, and they Sundays before the weekly of the Satanistic demons down at the state capitol bring all their bills forward. He does this it's like Sunday night Zoom, he does it just on YouTube and just goes over the bills, which most people don't pay attention to that kind of. I didn't used to pay attention to that stuff, so it's just a good way to kind of get an overview of, here's some bills. Hey, if you can go testify, but it's just really good. Because I always tell people, it's hard to do activism. It's hard to the productive class can't just go do it all the time, right? Because they're out being productive. So just knowing stuff. And I'm like, you can sit at home and turn the live stream on, and now you know what bills Colorado is doing, and you can tell a friend or whatever. That's all you need to do sometimes, is just start being aware, because it's local is, everyone pays attention to federal, but local is harder because you have where I am, a city, a county, and the state, and they all suck. So it's a lot of work.
I like that. They all suck. It's like, well, all right. Well, don't hold back. Tell us what you really think. So,
well, I won't, because I don't want you to get kicked off of YouTube. So I won't say
now, Jessica, you know my rules. You just be yourself. Whatever happens, happens. I mean, my audience is made up of strong adult people who are quite capable of handling blunt talk. So there you go. And by the way, WWG1 pays you a nice compliment over on the Rumble side. He says, stylish shoes in the background. Yes, the Forest Mommy is known for her very fine fashion sense. So there you go.
And I've said it many times before, I could put a bunch of books back there, but let's face it, I wouldn't have read them all. So we got shoes back there.
Well, there you go. There you go. Exactly. Well, I tell you what, let's dive in real quick to some memes that have been provided to us. and some of them are local. Some of them just sort of speak for themselves. And then, dear, I want you to kick it off with, like I said, the Colorado flavored version of the Wednesday night newsroom with a story that you want to talk about from your experiences dealing with your state legislature. Now, like I said, some memes just speak for themselves, and you know what? This one just kind of, this one touches my heart because this one is just pure Appalachia. This one is pure old West Virginia. And you know what? I'm not even going to say a word about it. Just let it say for itself, you know. And you know what? Many is the time that a lot of men like this have climbed onto one of those cart machines to go underground. And you know what? God love them because they're working to pay off somebody's gender studies major degree. Yes, indeed they are. God love them.
Can I say something about
go
this?
right ahead. Go right ahead.
So this is just what I said about the productive class. So these people, they can't go show up at their state legislature, which is during the weekdays, working hours. They can't go show up. But you know who does show up? Kayleigh, who had a gender studies degree and got some nonprofit bureaucratic job, she can show up down there. And in fact, she's paid by taxpayer dollars at her nonprofit to show up and help expand the government. It's such a, that's been blowing my mind since I started getting involved, is just how everybody who's there they get paid to be there, not just regular lobbyists. Most of the lobbyists are nonprofits and like NGOs and all these government organizations that they're paid to be down there, and they probably get a per diem, and they don't have to pay parking, and of course they're always testifying to make the government bigger or to get more money from the people, because the coal miners aren't there to defend themselves.
No, not at all. I mean, the coal miners aren't there. The silver miners aren't there in your state. The gold miners aren't there. Nobody. The miners aren't there to defend themselves. It's just everybody else who likes government, and they seem to be very good at getting something from government. Ridiculously so, in fact. Now, Jessica, I know that on your live stream, probably just the same as mine, that we sort of make it a point to not get ourselves in trouble by giving medical advice, tax advice, legal advice, that sort of thing. I mean, you've been in that spot. I mean, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you get yourself or your channel in trouble, right? Okay.
Right.
Well, and again, I try to adhere to that rule as strongly as possible. But you know what, folks? I think that, this is probably the best tax advice I could give some people. I mean, after all, if you're going to get a bribe, make sure to include it in your income. And that's not my recommendation, by the way. That comes from the IRS. So that's I think personally, I feel, I mean, I don't know about you, Jessica, but I feel pretty safe in giving out that little recommendation to people. If you're going to get a bribe.
I'm open to bribes. Just putting it out there. Just kidding.
Well, now, wait a minute. Now,
if it's
let's
allowed.
Talk.
It's allowed. The IRS is saying it's allowed, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Let's talk about this for a second, my dear. I mean, if your Forced Mommy fans were going to like shower you with certain gratuities, is there any recommendations that you have for them as for what you should be bribed with? I mean, are we talking like gift certificates for shoes, shoe stores? I mean, what kind of bribe are you willing to accept?
I mean, money's best, but
well, I mean, okay. So, all right.
No one ever returns money. No one ever returns money or says I don't want it. So,
okay. So you're kind of a straight cash homie girl. All right, that works. I can respect that.
What do they say? What was the old term? Ass, grass, or gas? Yeah, I mean, I'm not about that.
Lord have mercy. This is going to be one of those nights, people. That's all I can tell you. Okay. All right. Moving along with the merry memes. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, Jessica. Now, you have heard about this thing that's going on between Donald Trump and Bruce Springsteen, right?
Like Bruce is just being your typical musician and hating Trump, right? Lately, like saying stuff but he fell. I did see that.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Well, yeah, as with all things with Trump, these things kind of take on a life of their own, and now it's kind of escalating. I don't know if you've seen this latest headline, but apparently this is getting a little worrisome. I think Trump's about ready to take this one step too far. Guys, he's calling for Springsteen's birth certificate. This is getting kind of serious, really getting kind of serious here.
The bee, of course. They're so funny.
Yep. Wants to know if Springsteen was born in the USA. Doggone it. So, like I say,
I got the double. I got the double because that's a song. I got it totally now. It's like because he has a song, "Born in the USA," right? Sorry, I'm blonde, people. Sometimes it takes me a minute.
Now, no, it has nothing to do with being blonde. It's like you told me
dumb. It's just dumb.
No, it has nothing to do with being dumb either. It has to do with the fact you're running on caffeine here. So I kind of get it. So, we understand. We understand completely. So
as long as people don't have too high of expectations for me, then they're never disappointed. So
oh goodness. Well, yeah, and you do a great job, might I add. I'm just saying. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, you know what? This is kind of one of those memes that is just self-explanatory. And you know what? And Jess, I think you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about when I pop this one up here. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to let this speak for itself. Exactly. Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you giggling and nodding in the background. This guy is right. They're right.
And that goes with I don't know if you saw M169's comment, which is like, I wish politicians would look out for minors, not just minors on an island somewhere. It's a good comment.
Oh yeah. You're right. You are so right. Zippy's in the house. Goodness. Hello, Zippy. And T Gagliotti's over on the Rumble side. So, glad to have everybody settling in. It's going to be a real good evening, folks. It's going to be a real good evening. But that meme kind of just, 100%, 100%. And this is truth right here. She's dropping a truth bomb. You know.
Shannon's great. You would love Shannon.
Oh, I have to have her on here sometime just for grins and giggles.
She fights. She's in Florida and she does a lot because she has 2 children, so she ends up fighting a lot for kid issues, which is what I'm going to talk about, but also like in the school board and like local school stuff. So
okay,
yeah.
All right, now Jess, I think you're going to find this one interesting. Now you've heard about the game Kill Fuck Marry, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And for those of you out there watching who may, in other words, if you had certain individuals, would you kill them? Would you marry them? Or would you have sex with them? Okay. Well, the internet, being what it is, apparently has found a new modification for that game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this question. If given your choices, or let's just put it this way. If you had to bring one of the 4 following individuals back to life,
We're just bringing one back to life. Oh, they made that easy. They made this.
Yeah. So your choices are the 3 individuals or the squirrel from New York that got euthanized, unfortunately. Peanut. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, your choices are Epstein, George Floyd, John McCain, or Peanut the squirrel. Personally, Jessica, I don't know about you, but I'm going for the squirrel.
Dead. Yeah, I'll go with the squirrel because Epstein's not even dead, probably.
Oh, well, you know what? You're right. We got to take him off the list.
Just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but.
Well, but here's my question. If we're going to take off Epstein off the list of the dead, and we're trying to decide who we want to bring back, could we substitute in maybe Prince or Michael Jackson or, do we have an option on substituting somebody in here? I don't know. I thought I'd ask. Seems like Oh, Robert. Oh my God. I disavow. Really
I
disavow.
avow. I agree and I avow.
Okay. I avow, but oh, now that would be a good substitution. If you're going to substitute somebody out for Epstein, Freddie Mercury, yeah, I could, yeah, I'm down with that. Or Whitney Houston. I'd love that girl's voice. Indeed. Let's see. What else do we have? I think we got maybe one or two more. And some of these I'm going to have to save for my next live stream. Oh, you know what? It's just too good. I can't help it. I'm sure, Jessica, have you heard of the good news about Michelle and Barack Obama?
They got a new chef.
Bingo! They did. Congratulations. You're absolutely right. They got a new chef for their house out on Martha's Vineyard. As a matter of fact, it just came out in the news the other day. And given the intrepidness of the people who hang out on the electronic front porch, and I'm sure that you have your own network of, shall we say, fans and spies, our people managed to get some video of this new chef. However, I'm not so sure he's doing so well with his new job. And I think you're going to understand what I'm getting at here in just a moment, because our boy here might have some problems. So one of our people managed to get a hold of this video. It runs about a minute, and they entitled it Big Mike. I don't know why, but let's check it out.
The chef of a prominent figure was found dead today in what appears to be a paddleboarding accident.
Welcome to Martha's Vineyard. Are you our new chef?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm John.
Have you met Michelle yet?
Hello? Someone there?
I've been getting some weird vibes here. Feels like I'm seeing things I'm not supposed to see. I don't think these people...
Are you enjoying the view of my Michelle?
Oh my God.
I don't understand. Her name is not Michelle. It's...
Yeah. I think I'm beginning to understand why our friend, the new chef, might be having a little bit of a hard time fitting in. Just,
Yeah. Weird people. Oh, also, I was going to tell your audience, my dogs, I have a house guest who's going to be showing up any minute. So I'll have to run and let him in at some point. Just FYI.
Okay.
Everybody. If you see me, go dart and then come back.
Okay. Well, you just let me know. We'll just bounce it back and forth.
Was that a Daily Wire thing?
Well, I have to thank WWG1 over on Rumble, one of the original wingnuts in my audience. He found this. He has an absolute uncanny ability to find the best little memes and videos for the benefit of our audience for a good chuckle. And, for a lot of reasons, WWG1 is one of the best parts of our audience. So I have to thank him constantly. But he found that somewhere and popped it over to me. I was like, oh, yeah, we've got to. We just got to. This is too good.
It's good. Just silly. Like
Exactly. Well, with that, I'm gonna hand it over to you. Like I said, I invited you on not only for the pleasure of your company, which is always wonderful, but for people in my audience maybe who haven't been or haven't had the chance to keep up with what you're doing, I wanted to give you the opportunity to add sort of a Colorado flavor to the Wednesday night newsroom. So we've got some articles lined up. You tell me which one you want to start with, and I'll just pop the thing up there and I'll give you free reign to talk about it.
Well, so for people who don't know, I pay attention to politics. We have obviously a state legislative session. Colorado is it's in the control of Democrats, and not just Democrats, but like progressive psycho fascist Democrats. Like, it's really weird. And they've had a lot of control, and they snuck into this state and took over really slowly and quietly. And now we have these crazy they're literal Democratic Socialists of America. There's pictures of them like this, like okay, dorks. But so this legislative session, they went crazy, and they pushed, first of all, 700 bills they tried to pass. 700, and we do this every year. Like, it's insane. So when was it? I think it was in March or something. All of a sudden, there was this bill released. So it's the one, let's do the Colorado, the legislative one that will say legal protections for transgender or something or other.
All right. Hang on just a second.
So
It was
this
House Bill 25-1309.
1312, it should say.
Okay, hang on.
Put that one.
Yep. Here it is. Here it is. Let me enlarge this just a hair, give people a better chance to look at it, and let me pop this thing up on the screen for you, dear. And you just tell me where in this thing you want me to go, and we'll just cruise on through it. So,
okay.
and
I have to set it up too. So so all of a sudden this bill got released on maybe a Friday afternoon. It got introduced. So if people don't know how bills pass your state house, go learn how it happens, because I still don't even get it's complicated. So people need to do that. So this bill got released on like a Friday or so. And so that means people only had, and they were going to do the first committee hearing, like maybe on Tuesday. Was it a Tuesday when? Anyway, so they released it fast, and they did a hearing really fast because they didn't want normal people to have time to organize. So what happened? They released it. So this bill 1312, it's changed a lot. I will play another video from one of the legislators to say, like, because it did eventually pass. This is what's nuts about it. So I spoke on it that first day. It was actually kind of fun because, like, normally in these hearings, especially when it's a transgender issue, hours of testimony, like hours and hours.
Right.
Hours. You can be down at the state house, or you can Zoom. So if you want to do testimony, check to see if you can do Zoom, because I do Zoom all the time too. Like, it makes it so easy. You can have a glass of wine, yell at them. It's great. So they released this crazy bill. So the craziest part about it's an attack on parental rights. So this bill actually went big. It was on Fox News. All the conservative stuff picked it up, which was great. Because after this hearing, it went big, and then they kind of went silent. They went quiet about it, and it had passed the House, and then they sat on it for a while because it got so much press. But this bill, basically the worst part about it, there was three aspects of it. One of the worst parts about it. So, when you're getting, like, when people get divorced, I'm not a misogynist, but women can be total see you next Tuesdays during divorces with the kids and stuff, right? Already abuse the system. The lawyers tell them to lie and abuse the system, right? So this bill was going to say, it's just fact of life. That's usually the mom transing a kid, which I'm sorry, I'm against it on kids. Leave kids alone. I thought we had that line anyways, but obviously not. So it would say, like, say the mom's transing the daughter or whatever, and they're getting a divorce. Well, now if the dad calls the daughter's actual name that he named her when he held her as a baby, that is considered coercive control, calling your own child their name. So then they would use that in custody stuff. So it was going to be go towards custody. But the sad part is this is already happening, actually, where it's always dads, are losing custody of their kids because they won't go along with the trans stuff. So it was that. And so there's a group called Bread and Roses, which is this like Soros funded, USAID kind of funded legal group that's all weird, and like the activists. These aren't just regular trans people wanting to live their lives. This is people who are actively trying to make laws to force it through the government and public schools, obviously. So this Bread and Roses group basically helped to write this bill, and we all like we all spoke on it that first day, like I said. And then it went big, and then and so the Polish just signed it. It was sad, but by the time it passed, so it passed the House, and then they amended the hell out of it, which okay, they took out that coercive control thing, but I'll show a video in a minute with one of our, or you'll show it, with the one legislature who she fights for kids really hard. She's awesome, Brandy Bradley, and she it's the worst part is they take things out, but these same legislatures are in next year too. So they're gonna they're gonna try and push it again in different ways. Because I've seen this now that I've been paying attention. You see how they take different bills year to year. Maybe take this out and we put it here, and then this bill works with this bill, blah blah blah. So it did pass, and of course Polis signed it. The governor, who I don't like. I don't think so. I don't ever go on Megan Fox's chat. I don't think.
Oh.
Yeah, so it passed, but they took a lot of dumb stuff out. But if you want to play the one that says Bradley for Colorado,
Yeah, hang on just a second.
she just does a quick little video and explains like what's left of the bill. It still gives the school and legal. Then it's a attack on parental rights, which I know my name's Forrest Mommy. I'm not actually a mommy, but guess what? Family and parents, government, like
I hear you.
Drives me insane. That's why I go fight, because it's like I can, and I know how wrong it is what they're doing. So,
okay, hang on. I think I just found it. Representative Brandy Bradley, state representative from Colorado. Let me enlarge this out so people can see it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, and Jessica, tell me where to stop in this if you want to make comments on it. So here is Representative Bradley's
perfect time.
comment.
I'm gonna go let my friend in.
Okay, all right. We'll play the video, and then we'll go on and make some comments about it. Here you go, folks.
Hey guys, there seems to be a lot of confusion about 1312, so I decided to do a video. Disregard the bill summary. It stays the same no matter what. But Section 6 is where we're having the problem. There's still the policy must be inclusive of all reasons that a student might adopt a name that differs from the student's legal name. That is new bill language. It means that a child can go to school and change their name from the student's legal name. They're still dividing parents from children, and we still have a really big problem with that. Now, if you skip to Section 8 in the bill, this is under CADA, the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act. And what that is a state law that prohibits discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodation based on specific characteristics. And what they have added in the bill is chosen name. That means a name that an individual requests to be known as in connection to the individual's disability, race, creed, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, and the list goes on, so long as the name does not contain offensive language and the individual is not requesting the name for frivolous purposes. We don't even know what that is. And we don't know how many times you can do that or misgender or dead name, how many times, and then the business will be held liable. What we have a problem with that is that the parent discriminates against his or her own child, with the parent then be in jeopardy of losing custody of the child. We're already seeing this happen many different ways, many different times all over the state of Colorado. So we know this is already happening before this is even codified into law. What happens with private schools and charters? What we're seeing is the church opens parts of its property to services to the community or even daycare. They can be susceptible to this part of CADA. We see it for private schools that operate maybe open
I don't know
summer.
how long it is, but
be susceptible to this part of CADA. We see it with Jack Phillips and Lori Smith with Creative 303. So we know that they will be susceptible. And this is why this bill has come out of the Senate even worse. Do not believe the hype. The local media is telling you this is not a bad bill. This bill is worse, and it will create serious problems for parents in our community, businesses in our community, the private school sector, and all over the state of Colorado. Tell Jerry Polis to vote no on this bill. And if he doesn't, we promise we will defeat you in any upcoming election. The parents have had enough, and we will not be stopped. Thank you.
Okay. And I know Jessica, I heard her in the background coming back in. So, yeah, I mean, so Paulus is signing. Is this bill as bad as Bradley is saying? I mean, because the way she's making it sound like some of it may have gotten changed when it got over to the Colorado House of Representatives, but how much of that thing was still intact from the way the Senate originally wrote it up?
I mean, it's still bad, like she said. So what she was saying, that is what he did sign it after she sent that video out. I think he didn't veto it. We all wanted him to veto
Okay.
it because he does. This is what he does. There are tons of bad bills, obviously, and he will occasionally veto ones. And it's like, yes, that was good. Thank you. Yeah, but that bill, it's just, shh, hey, sorry.
You're all right.
So it's a madhouse
We,
around here.
we like pets here on the electronic front porch. It's all good.
Yeah. Let's think someone else does that in my head. Okay. What was I saying? Well, so the whole thing with this bill, and the way they pushed it, it was this activist group. Oh, and this was the funny thing. The first day when they introduced it, this one terrible person. Hey, sorry. So she's her name's Lorena Garcia. She's a terrible communist, and she's a lesbian and is always writing all these parental bills. So she said something like, there was a couple Republicans on that panel, and they were like, did you stakeholder, what did you ask the other side? What did you ask? Obviously you have the Bread and Roses group, on the one side, and she goes, we weren't going to talk to people who are hostile towards us, blah blah blah. And it was like, and then they said parent groups and all these other groups were like the KKK. These are sitting legislatures said this, so this is what, it's all Leo. It's
Well, by the way, our audience is saying if you want to bring Leo on, no one's going to object.
they just don't know my friend who got here, so stop it.
Oh, okay.
Just stay. So the silver lining was, so for a lot of these past couple of years, we've been like, obviously churches can't be too political, right? But
Sure.
they can educate their congregations on bills that are passing that are going to affect them. So for the longest time, we've been like, where are the churches? Why aren't the church? This is like so anti-human.
Yeah.
So this bill got them involved. So a bunch of churches out here formed a group.
Good.
They were doing rallies. And so the final House hearing for 1312, we had a Senate. We had a record amount of people sign up too, from how big it was. We had 700 people sign up to testify. Not all against it, but, and it was
Sure.
I was down there. I don't get how these people, like, be whatever you want when you're an adult, but it's like the circus down there when these people are down there. Like, they have nuns, drag nuns, and I'm like, we're supposed to take you seriously, but yet they're winning, so whatever. But so that was good. And the churches have gotten involved, and I've even talked to some of them, and so because churches, some of the bigger churches are like, they won't get involved because their exempt status is just too important for them,
Sure.
So they stay here. They aren't that involved. But the small churches, a bunch of small churches came together. There was this guy that Leo said. There was this guy named William Wolf. I'm not super. I guess he's kind of a little nuts. Like this is the problem, right? Because then he wanted to pass religious laws, and it's like, no, let's not even talk about that right now, because that's just more fodder for that side, right? And
Exactly.
even though they're doing the same thing. But anyways, he's like a Baptist group of some sort. He has a nonprofit of some sort, but he had some money, so he helped them kind of get going, and they were doing rallies, and they spoke, and it was the first time a lot of them ever testified on a bill. So I was like,
Jessica, your internet just cut out. I cannot hear a word you're saying. I see a finger. She just muted. She's thinking. And while she's doing that, let me do a real quick commercial, because I am somewhat of a basic broadcaster. Yeah.
test. Can you hear me? It's
Back.
different.
You're back. You're good.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. I just started to do the old soft shoe, but
About the radical stuff. So a lot of these I forget which kind of church it is, but they got taken over by this rainbow stuff too.
Mhm.
And so this was during all that testimony, there was one of those pastors came on and he's like, okay, and the whole deal is we don't want to trans kids. We don't that's
Yeah.
what we're fighting against here. We don't want the government and he gets on and he's all, and all the other pastors, it was kind of refreshing because they were speaking, the word and Jesus and all religious speak and in their testimony. And then this guy gets on, he's like, I don't love those people, but I will because Jesus tells me to. I'm like, you don't love them because they don't want to mess kids up? Like, what? So
Mm.
it's weird times. And so I posted there's another bill that was Courtney. There was another bill that is 1309 that kind of worked with this one. So 1309 was basically forcing insurance companies, Medicare and Medicaid to oh, thanks, Robert. Thank you. To have to cover gender affirming care, physical, drugs, surgeries, all this. And so when it was on the House floor, Brandy, actually, who you just saw, she brought an amendment and said, they know they're going to lose this one too, this fight. So she said, well, how about we do, but not for 18 and under. You don't have to cover, because I thought that it wasn't happening to anyone 18 and under, right, Brian? Isn't that what we keep being told? It's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
happening.
none of this is happening to kids that are 18 years of age or under. I mean, no. This is all your guys' imagination, you right-wing bigots.
Yeah, so they wouldn't even pass that amendment. So this now, if you see this one that says Brianna Titone, is Brian Titone. I'm sorry if that's disrespectful, but because he's my house rep and I will not play his game. He doesn't even try to be a tranny. He's just like a cross-dresser, right? And this was his bill, part of his bill. So now taxpayers are going to be, through Medicaid and all that, are going to be forced to cover gender affirming care in minors, which isn't happening.
Oh, yeah.
So that one passed, and on the House floor, Brian, he got up at one point in his when that amendment was up, he's like, as somebody who's trans, I wish I could have started younger too, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care what you wanted. You don't, just 18, stop. Like, let's just have that line. I don't care what you felt. You have to, you're coercing a kid to do this stuff. It's not natural. They might be gay or a little fruity or whatever, but the trans stuff is not natural. So anyway, so that one passed too. That was one of my favorite testimonies on that one, actually. I think that was one of my favorite ones. But yeah, so that's the kind of loony stuff. But like I said, it woke the churches up, and a lot of moderate Democrats or inactive parents started seeing it, and they were like, wait a minute, what? Like, because it was that crazy,
Yeah, exactly. And just a couple of questions or comments from my side of it. I can remember back in, like, I don't know, maybe the 90s, when you guys had, you had Democrats out there, but they were what I would call old school Democrats. You had Ben Nighthorse Campbell, who was at one time a U.S. Senator out there. He started out as a Democrat, switched over to the Republican Party, and then, retired somewhere in the early 2000s, I think, or late 90s, and others like him. But somewhere along the way, you guys, bless your hearts, y'all got hijacked. I mean,
Yeah,
y'all went
literally.
like moderate of the road Democrats to like bunch of Fruit Loop lefties. What happened? Did California invade you guys or something? I mean, what the heck happened?
So it's kind of a long story that started like a decade or no, time's going so fast. How is it already 5 years since COVID? So 15 years ago or so, Polis, the now governor, along with 3 other billionaires, because there are leftist billionaires, even though they say billionaires are bad. One named Pat Stryker, one last name Rhett Bridges, and the other one Tim Gill. And they came together and said, all right, this is what we're going to do. And they put together all these this is what the Democrats are amazing at. They did all these training centers, and they found the people to groom, right? And especially the one was called Emerge. So if to your eye, see if there's an Emerge training, like politics training center, because it's all progressive, and they find these bossy bitch progressive women, and they then it's just becomes part of this whole like fast track. They're connected, they get in. So like the county I'm in, Jefferson County, Colorado, had one of those. It took over the whole county, took over Arvada, which is where I ran for city council and would never have gone on. And they just, it's so maddening now because it takes so much to do anything, to even get even a little bit. That's why this whole everyone's like, oh, everything was so crazy. And I'm like, more people got involved than ever. So that was a white pill for me, like you got to like take the little wins and all that. But yeah, and they had all the money and then they have Act Blue. They have all the, they just are a well-oiled machine if they want to take on. So this is what they're doing in other states too. It's happening in Wisconsin, the cities in Wisconsin, which I'm like, because that's where I spend time in the summer and up north. And those people are all Trump people, and they don't realize that they're not involved. And it's a lot of vacation houses, but like it's happening there. And even my parents' small town where their cabin is, she was like, yeah, we read something where they're trying to put subsidized housing in. I'm like, there's 300 people here. And it's like, it's what they do everywhere. And then they're going to ship people in there, and then they're going to vote and change the whole town and do what they want. And yeah, it's just, and they're doing it everywhere. Everyone thinks like, even Texas had some of this trans stuff at the state house too. And they have some weird because the Austinites and all them are pretty much the same.
Yeah, Texas. See, everybody has a misconception about Texas, and I hate to say this because there's a lot of good things that have come out of Texas. But if anybody thinks that Texas is some kind of like stronghold for America First, MAGA kind of republicanism right now, heck no.
Nope.
Those are old Bushites down there, and there's more stories coming out all the time about the Texas legislature, even though it is predominantly controlled by Republicans. There's more stories coming out, and people are realizing, oh crap, the lefties infected Texas too, and if we don't get a hold of that one, we're going to lose it. So yeah, it's just, oh yeah, I feel bad for y'all out there and God love you. I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is, you guys are fighting the fight because it just crept up on you. Like a lot of states, it just crept up on. Virginia was a great example of that. There was a time nobody ever had to worry about the state of Virginia. And then all of a sudden, the lefties just started creeping in the 2000s. And then all of a sudden, the state goes from reliably, one side to now we're just all over the place. And I'm like, this is Virginia. This doesn't happen in Virginia. So yeah, I feel you, dear. Now, before I get too far down the road here, some questions and comments have come in, and I just, some of them are fans, some of them are kind of related, etc. Ruben Christopher Haynes says, Brian got an upgrade. I approve. Thank you, Ruben. And yeah. And on a totally unrelated subject, how are your Broncos looking this season?
I don't know, because everyone's gonna laugh at this. I am a Rockies fan. Okay. I like the Rockies.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
And the more they lose and the worse they get, the more I love them.
It's kind of like the Continental Divide's version of the Chicago Cubs. It's like, it's like you gotta love the guys, you gotta love them.
And Coors Field is awesome to go to games. Like if anyone ever is in Colorado and during baseball season, go to a Coors Field game because it's a beautiful stadium and you can just drink. It's really fun.
WWG1 over on Rumble says, they always change the terms, change the language, forbid certain words, make you use other words, and then you've got 1984's George Orwell. I am not going to ask her if she likes Rocky Mountain oysters, WWG1. What kind of question is that?
I love them. When you said the flavor of Colorado, I was going to say, well, is that Rocky Mountain oysters? I just had buffalo ones not too long ago, actually.
Oh, God. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why I love bringing this young lady on here, and this is one of them. So.
You never know what you're going to get. It's compelled speech to his other. It's compelled speech. So that was one of my first things I said in that first testimony. I'm like, guess who loves? This is compelled speech. Guess who likes that? Fascists. Like you try to throw it in their face, but
it's
okay.
You can have free speech as long as we agree with it. That's basically what it comes down to. And again, it's not just Colorado. Colorado, and some people made the argument, your state was the test case. Can we take a state that's moderate to conservative in his politics, work our way in, and then just totally flip the state before you realize what's happened. And then all of a sudden people are like, wait a minute, my legislature's doing what? Huh? This is kind of crazy. So, but yeah, I
That's what happened.
totally get it. Yeah, totally. Well, I'll tell you
I feel
what.
guilty. I wasn't paying attention before either. So I mean, I get it. Like
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, but if you got anything else on that subject, let me know. Otherwise, I will swerve us into a commercial real quick. So, anything else on these two bills or any other on your first topic so far?
no.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do a commercial for each other. Jessica, if people were going to follow you on social media, where may they find you, my dear? Because all this fun commentary, all the laughs, the jokes, the tweets, the everything else, goodness gracious, tell us about your social media presence.
Well, the best place to follow me is on Twitter or X, and it's just at Forest Mommy. That's where I am the most because I do make a little bit of money on there. So, and I have a Rumble channel. So I used to stream a lot more. I'm not streaming as much lately. And my streams are kind of like politics might come up or something, but it's for fun. So like I have a show called Off the Rails, which Shannon and There Goes the Neighborhood are my like co-hosts on that. So we do that once a month. And then I do another show called The Correct Opinion. That's the channel name on Rumble with my friend Paul on Saturday nights. I don't stream to YouTube anymore, so it's all Rumble.
So you've got a Rumble channel.
Oh yeah, Forest Mommy.
Okay, all right, then forgive me because I forgot to put that in the description of tonight's live.
You're fired, Brian.
I'm sorry. I'm just one man. I'm sorry. I will get it corrected, boss. Well, cool. Well, you can find me on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter. You can find me on YouTube and Rumble at The Front Porch Conservative. You can find me on Twitter at The Front Porch C1. Please, if you're not subscribed to our channels, subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on Rumble, subscribe to us in all the places, because we is just poor, humble people out here on the social media trying to make our way through the world. So, oh, come on, guys, give me a break. I make one mistake. Oh, my God. Y'all are just cruel.
Courtney's on your ass, too.
Courtney's always on my ass. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Courtney. All right. Let me shift gears. Talking about irritating Democrats. David Hogg. All right, first question. Have you heard of this gentleman?
Yes, I know who he is.
Okay. All right. Okay. David Hogg, as you know, and as the audience knows, is now the vice chairman of the Democrat National Committee. And he has run afoul of his fellow Democrats for so many different reasons. And part of it is that, oh gosh, how do I want to put this? He's definitely not your typical Democrat because, yeah, he's just so, all that. But there's a headline I found at justthenews.com, and I don't really want to go into the article as much as I want this to set up what we're going to watch next. And what happened, what we're going to talk about, actually broke today. Now, the headline from justthenews.com, DNC's David Hogg expresses concern about optics as the party considers redoing his election next month. Now, to give people a little bit of background who don't know about this, the DNC is to the point, and this is very rare, very, very rare, because normally the Democrats are a very well-oiled machine. All the gears turn the same way. Everybody buzzes at the same pitch. Well, David Hogg has made such a donkey's ass out of himself that the DNC is ready to strip him of his job. Now, I say all that to set up this. Project Veritas dropped a video today where David Hogg, and why in God's name he did this, I know why, he's stupid, but why David Hogg did this, I have no idea. he starts blabbing his guts about certain members of the Biden White House and who he really thinks is in charge. So with that, I want to play a little quick 1-minute video. Give me a second here. That's not it. That's not it. Hang on, folks. That's the problem. I got too many tabs up here. Here we go. There we go. So he's out and about somewhere having lunch, and you guys have seen these Project Veritas videos before. Basically, somebody got him to start talking, and I don't know if they fed him liquor or he's that dumb, but he decided to have a discussion about who he thinks was running the Biden White House. With that, folks, check this out.
Yes, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Off the record, of course.
Foundational question for me is like, how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden? Well, the president of the United States.
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be like a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was like the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress to you enough.
Like Joe Biden's chief of staff, like had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was like an open secret at the level. Like I would avoid him. Like he was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's like a shadowy, like Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so like. I knew how he looked, but I'm like the general public wouldn't know how this man looked. But he wielded an enormous amount of power, and I can't stress to you how much power he had in the White House.
Okay, now lay aside the content of what David Hogg is talking about. Okay, let's just lay that aside for a second. How stupid do you have to be in this day and age to go to a restaurant, talk to someone you probably barely know, and spill your guts? I mean, if he were just the average guy out there, making speculation about what he thinks is going on inside the Biden White House or did go on inside the Biden White House or what goes on inside the Democrat Party, that's one thing. Okay. You are the vice chairman of the National Democrat Party. How stupid do you have to be to start running your mouth and flapping your gums in front of somebody you bear? Well, now, Gypsy, I grant you that. This is true. Some people just love to talk, but some people ought to know, keep your freaking mouth shut. I mean, it's no wonder the Democrats want to get rid of him, which sort of begs a question for me, and Jessica, feel free to jump in on this. When did they shoot this video for Project Veritas? I mean, did they do this before all the hullabaloo blew up inside the Democrat Party about wanting to get rid of David Hogg? Or was this like something that's now just piling on saying, okay, guys, as if we didn't need one more reason to get rid of him, here it is. I mean, your thoughts, my dear.
Yeah. Well, did they get rid of him? Didn't something happen?
Not yet. They haven't gotten, apparently they're voting sometime in June on the question of whether they want to remove him or not. But I mean, this guy is just sealing his fate. Now, my only question is, and there are rumors to this effect, how much does he take going out the door? And what I mean is, look, given his position inside the party, he has access to voter databases. He has access to, contributor lists, everything else. And David Hogg was an activist before he ever became anything inside the Democrat Party. If he goes out the door, how much has he already taken out before they ever remove him? It's just.
Or is he just a patsy too? Like they knew he was groomed up and he's been this actor type anyways. And they thought, well, maybe he'll bring some demographic in or something. I don't know. But he's always been so stupid. Like, did you see that debate with where Lily Tang it wasn't a debate with her, but she got to ask a question. She's like, she's Chinese. She says, can you promise me the government will not be tyrannical if you take our guns? And he was like, no. She's like, well, then the gun debate's over. Like, hello.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
pillow thing. Do you remember when he tried to start the pillow thing?
No, I don't remember this.
He tried to start a competition to be against My Pillow, right? And that guy.
Mike
It was so
Lindell?
funny. Yeah.
Oh,
The funny part
God.
about it is when he was trying to do it, he wasn't starting a pillow company from the ground up, right? He was going around trying to find a company to like distribute. And I'm like, oh, sounds like capitalism to me, but I heard you hate that, you know? I'm like, and they would say all these business owners, I'm like, you're doing it the way a greedy business owner would, where you just buy a company and then say it's yours, where you didn't really like build it. You know, it's just so goofy. I had it for like a minute and then he was like, this is too hard. So I just stopped.
Well, and this kind of goes on a side note. This kind of goes to another story that I found that I saw this break over the weekend, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Apparently, the Democrats are now preparing an effort to win back young men because David Hogg apparently is not manly enough a representative of the Democrat Party. Don't you know? Apparently, the Democrats are about ready to spend a significant amount of money trying to win back the men's vote. I don't know if y'all heard about this or not, but check this out, Jessica. They're going to drop $20 million on a plan to try to win back young men. Now, this story broke in the New York Times, okay, and I'm running it here. I've got the Breitbart article, but apparently, now this is the first line in this New York Times article just tells me everything that's wrong with what the Democrats are doing. Donors and strategists have been gathering at luxury hotels to discuss how to win back working class voters. Okay, to go to something that you said about your state in Colorado, you know, the productive class doesn't have time to per se be involved in politics. They're out there being productive. Now, to the Democrat donors out there, you mean to tell me that you guys, you know, think that hanging out in luxury hotel is gonna help you? That hanging out in luxury hotels is going to help you, um, win back young men? Seriously? And what gets me about it, and this is the best part of this article, is how they think they're going to win back young men. They've got a plan called SAM, Speaking with American Men. They're going to study syntax. They're going to study, online content to figure out how to speak to young men. You know what? I'm not in the business of giving the Democrat Party advice. However, I am going to do this one time. Save your money. The problem isn't how you're saying your message. Your problem is your message. You have spent years and decades now trying to convince young men that they shouldn't act like men. Okay? You've tried to feminize them to the point they're castrated without being castrated. You're taking away opportunities for them to grow economically. You're giving it to people who aren't even citizens of the United States. You are accusing them of being racist. You're accusing them of being homophobic. You're accusing them of every negative in the world. And yet somehow you expect them to turn around and vote for you after you've kicked the proverbial dog in the ribs. Save your $20 million, guys. Your problem isn't how you're saying it. Your problem is what you're saying. Nobody wants it. Not nationwide anyway. In certain states, you might make that message work, but you're not going to make it work nationwide. I mean, your thoughts on it, my dear.
Yeah, well, and they've just pushed too far. Like you said, they've just pushed too dang far. That's what's happening in Colorado too now. I mean, who knows if it can ever be righted, but yeah, they pushed too far. Like, and it's just been a weird world. I mean, everything's just been so crazy since 2016, basically, where people are just so extra propagandized too, and yeah, it's it's funny because like where I live is just so many progressive men. It's like really, you guys are like progressive. They work for the government though, but it's like, yeah, I do wonder like the younger ones if they're like getting sick of this shit. Literally.
It's funny you say that because I've been seeing and this is not just polling either. I've been seeing like all kinds of cultural trends that it seems like Gen Z and the millennials, a certain percentage of them, but particularly Gen Z, if there is a movement back to, cultural and political conservatism, of all places it's happening in is Gen Z, because they're looking at, not so much the Gen Xers, but they're looking at the millennials going, oh, heck no, I don't want any part. Y'all are just nuts. Forget you. I'll go talk to the Gen Xers and figure out, how I ought to get a handle on life, because I do not want to follow you guys. You millennials are nuts.
Yeah,
and it's just, it's fat. I mean, religion, politics, you're seeing the trend line happen. And I mean, look, in the state of Colorado, and I will argue probably nationally as well, if the Democrats keep going the way they're going, I mean, you guys are right on the edge of your own Tea Party revolution out there, I think. And I'm not just saying that because you're here, but the way you're describing it, I've seen this thing happen before, where finally, you get pushed, and finally everybody's like, forget it, enough of this, and if the Democrat Party keeps going this way, and the state of Colorado nationally, they're just going to drive them further and further away. They won't get them back. And then,
and we're going to be in economic collapse. That's what I don't understand out here. They just want more and more and more money, more and more and more money, and they're wasting it. And and it's just like, eventually the money stops. Like you can't. What are you going to do then, government? Like,
well, I mean, what was Margaret Thatcher's great line? Socialism is a great system of government so long as you got someone else's money to spend. When you don't have anyone else's money to spend anymore, it stops being a great system of government.
Yeah.
So true.
That's what I said at this. Sorry, I was going to add this.
No, go ahead.
There's one testimony I did where they're trying to get rid of this tax. We have a taxpayer bill rights out here, which kind of protects us, but the government done what they want to do anyways. But I remember I was just like, I just went up there and I'm like, that's not your money. I just kept repeating like, that's not your money to them, because it's not, and they act like it is.
Oh yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, we can spend money on this. We'll use the taxpayer money. Well, that's not your money. That's the taxpayer's money. And they have a very peculiar idea of what they think you ought to spend it on, and it's not what you're trying to do with it. So, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, I will toss it back over to you. What else goes on in your wonderful state of Colorado that you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, I don't know now. Talk myself out on those other issues. I guess there's something good. This like with more people getting involved and this is what I tell people, because there's so much to do to help to pay attention. Like most people don't know or don't pay attention. Their county is having like meetings all the time. Like commissioners, whatever. You can usually watch them from home. A lot of times they don't record it though. It's not like recorded and played again. So I always tell people, if you're home, pop that out and screen record it. So there's there's this huge coalition of just normal people now getting involved. Some of them are Democrats, Republican, Libertarian, unaffiliated, whatever. Just people who are like, okay, I need to do something. So that's been another white pill. And I wish I get the message, because people get mad at me. Like I'll be like, hey, pay attention to local politics. Be like, well, I don't have time. And I'm like, well, why are you getting mad at me about that? Like, what? I'm sorry. Like there's things everybody can do, something small. Like you can watch, if you're like, my city council does upload and replay. Like, so if I can go watch them, just watch what these where I'm at, they're idiots. They're like the dumbest. They're doing land. This is the best. The one girl, she does land acknowledgments. Colonizers, took over. All while they're helping bring in all these illegals, colonizing Colorado further and making money off of it.
Well, let me ask you a question, because that brings up something that kind of started, last fall with the takeover of the apartment complexes in certain cities in your state. Is that still going on?
I think some of the buildings are condemned now. It was
Okay.
real. That video you saw of like where they were running around with the
I think
guns
it was
inside
Tren de
of the
Agua. Yeah.
apartment. Yeah, that I know that lady who released that, and she's since moved. Yeah, it was real, and like the NGO. This is what was funny too. The landlord was trying to say we didn't know this was going on. Well, and I'm like, they were working with the NGOs because the NGOs were just writing them checks left and right, just writing them all these checks, throwing those people in there. All this money was flowing. Um, I think I'm sure there was a lot of self deportation that happened because there used to be a ton of the squeegee guys in Aurora. They're gone. It's cold here. This is what I love about the people who didn't understand that these people are being moved. I'm like, do you really think 40,000 Venezuelans formed a caravan and came up to Colorado from the border? Like, I don't understand how people don't understand how these people are put there, So yeah, it's real. It's happening. We were following the NGO money, which is just this web of nastiness out here with a lot of the blue takeover too. It's all connected. But yeah, it's real, and the Democrats knew whenever they started doing this 4 years ago with the ARPA funds or whatever, it was like they made it just legal enough, they made it just legal enough where all these people could just they had camps at the border, which I get the humanitarian aspect, but these people were told to go there, meet at the camp, they get bussed off, and unaccompanied minors went missing.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I was at the airport and I saw one of these flights. I think those were Somalis when I saw it. I'm like, this is happening,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, not necessarily your state, but perfect example of this. Kilmar Garcia, the guy that's down in El Salvador right now, who was in Maryland. Well, people are like, oh, you guys, you don't know that he's Tren de Agua, or not Tren de Agua, excuse me. You don't know that he's MS-13. Oh, excuse me. You mean aside from the tattoos across his fingers and all the other? But the one story that got me that never got widely reported, and you may or may not have heard about this, he got picked up back in 21 or 22 in Tennessee in a van, didn't belong to him. Well, okay, fine. They pulled him over. Turns out he had an expired driver's license from the state of Maryland. What the Tennessee State Police didn't really report was he had a whole van load of people with no luggage whatsoever. None of them spoke English. Okay, the fact they didn't speak English is not necessarily illegal. Fine. No luggage, van full of people, and apparently he'd driven up from Texas. The owner of the van earlier had been convicted of human trafficking. And I'm sitting here going, what were you doing? Running people from Texas up to Maryland or some such craziness? I mean, and it's like you said, by the plane load, by the truckload, by the van load, it's like you said, 40,000 people all of a sudden just got the bright idea they want to move to Colorado. Lovely state, but it's not like it wasn't without coordination. Just craziness, absolute craziness.
Yeah. And why did they choose that guy to do this whole bread and circus thing around it, where the people traveled down there to help them get out of jail? Or it was just like, you wonder how they choose this stuff to make it go big. And then all these people they are deporting, even in Colorado, they're actual criminals. They're not even taking the illegal immigrants. They're taking actual criminals out. And they get so mad about that. It's just weird.
Okay. God, yeah, it really is. It really is. Absolutely crazy. Now, let me ask you another question. Your governor, Paulus, I know your feelings about the man, but there is rumors afoot. He's genuinely thinking about a run for president. You're closer on the ground out there than any of the rest of us. Is he genuinely serious about this?
He's trying to play the game. He says he's a libertarian and all this and yada yada. And I'm sure he will try because he's just followed that path, but I don't know. They have the money for it. So I know that. Got the connections. I think he wanted Walsh's spot. He wanted to be the VP pick, to be honest. But I don't think I didn't think he tried to do it, but I think he wanted to do it.
Okay.
It's just
okay.
And his real last name is Schutz. So he's changed his last name to his mother. I don't know. Yes, he's Jewish. Not that matters, but like, why would you change your name? Weird.
Yeah, very weird. Paulus is a strange bird, and now he
posted a picture of his mom, who's older. She had like trans flag colors colored in her hair. And this woman's like probably 70 or 80. And it's like, so anyways, they're just weird.
Now, wait a minute. Now, we need a correction on something. WWG1 says, did she say his last name was Schitz?
Schutz. SCHUTS. Schutz. I mean, you can say shits. I don't care. Fine with me. I call him worse on the daily, so it's fine.
Well, you have reason to want to call him worse on the daily. I totally get it. Well, now let me ask you a question on another front. You ran for city council in Arvada, Colorado. Any thoughts about doing it again? Are you being encouraged by anybody at this point, or?
No, they have an at-large spot up right now that I kind of wanted to put my name in and not fundraise and all that, but I don't think so. Down the line, and eventually I'm going to move to another county down there. I'll get more involved. But this summer, I have a friend who's running for city council in Greeley, so I want to help him a lot. So that's kind of going to be what I do this summer, rather than, I didn't like it, man. Like, I'm glad I did it. Everything works out. It's supposed to work out, but I hated that. I am not a politician, and these people are just so slimy. Even the Republicans are all slimy and gross, and everyone's trying to get something. And I'm like, can you stop taxing my man so much, for Christ's sake? That's what I'm trying to do, So.
Well, okay. On that, how is Forrest Daddy doing? I know we talked briefly backstage, but how busy is he staying with the contracting business?
Oh, he's too busy. He's too old to be how busy he is, honestly. But yeah, he's busy and good. He's a workaholic. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a job, so I mean, things are okay.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I tell you what, I know that you have to skedaddle here in a little bit. So I'll tell you what, for your sake and for the sake of the audience, we're going to bring this train into the station. One more time before we leave here, where can people go to find you on social media? What can they do to support you? What can they do to help out, not just you, but freedom-loving folks out in Colorado?
So again, Forrest Mommy on Twitter. Way to help out is, gosh, I don't know, because I was talking, everything comes down to money, right? And I don't work for an organization, so I have to pay to go fight. I have to literally pay to go fight the government. So I don't know, if you ever see someone around you or whatever, getting information requests cost money. If you ever want to help throw a couple bucks towards that kind of thing. Because I had a friend who just paid $100 the other day to get information she's completely entitled to as a person. So even in your, wherever people live, that's super helpful. I don't know, I don't know about for helping Colorado people, but I don't know. That's all I got.
Okay, well, fair enough. Follow this lovely young lady on Rumble. Follow her on YouTube. Follow her on Twitter. Like I say, and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up her pant leg. When it comes to fighting for freedom at the local level, she is one of the best examples of how you just do something. If it's following your city council meeting or your county commission, or going on Zoom to testify or whatever. I mean, if to borrow a phrase from Eric July, get in where you fit in. And Jessica is one of the best people I know of. Especially she will blow up Twitter. If she gets a hold of a subject and wants to have fun with it, she will flip and blow up Twitter. So follow this young lady, be inspired by her example, and, just if you can, support wherever possible. For my part, you can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on Rumble. Go ahead and subscribe to my channels. Follow me on Twitter. I post videos and live streams on a fairly regular basis. I'll try and do my best to have at least 1 or 2 more videos up this week. Front Porch Brunch, because of travel, will not happen this weekend. I shall be traveling, but we will be back regularly. So now, next Wednesday, the newsroom is back with one of my dear friends. The High Harlot is stopping by for a visit. Mike Harlow is going to be in the house.
Ooh, boy, that'll be fun.
Oh, that's going to get spicy because you know how Harlow is. It's just turn that boy loose and mouthy. But yeah, Harlow's going to be here. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. So put it on your calendars. In the meanwhile, Jessica, hang on a second. We'll say some proper goodbyes backstage. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, do all those things. We love you guys very much. And with that, have a great rest of your Wednesday evening. Good night, y'all.